Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kid Stories Podcast. I'm Phil Bechtel. Be sure to click the link in the show notes to check out a great video for this episode. Now let's get on to some shout-outs. Nova from British Columbia shared some very impressive drawings. Thanks so much, Nova. I think if you were a character from the stories, you would be a regular kid who can talk to dogs, and you'd start a dog spy network across the globe to fight crime. Thanks for listening, Nova. And August from Washington, D.C. is an avid listener and a great artist. August, I think if you were a character from the stories, you would be a potion maker, and you'd go on missions with hundreds of different potions that do all kinds of cool things. Thanks for listening, August. Today's story is titled Time's Up, Part 5. Auden and Tristan flew high above the valley and over the southern swamps. A sizable cave troll army thundered below them, headed for the Bizzard camp. Deep down, Auden and Tristan weren't sure if this army of trolls was going to be enough to defeat the Bizzards. But the trolls charged off without taking the time to make a plan or wait for the other heroes of the valley. So the brothers had to make the best of their situation. Their plan was to fly above and attack the Bizzard camp from a distance. This would hopefully spread out the Bizzards and distract them, so they wouldn't notice the trolls charging in until it was too late. And an army of cave trolls was no small thing. But the Bizzards had grown in size and number, and their camp was more advanced than ever. It would be a tough fight for them to come out ahead, and the brothers were already thinking about what their next move would be if this attack didn't work out. They neared the Bizzard camp, but couldn't see much through the thick tree cover of the southern swamps. Once they were directly above the camp, Tristan asked, "Ready?" Auden confirmed. "Ready." "All right, coming in hot," said Tristan, and he dove straight down into the foliage. As soon as he broke through the canopy and the Bizzard camp was in full view, they opened up. Tristan unleashed a salvo of fireballs from his dragon mouth, targeting all sides of the camp. And Auden revealed a dagger with a jagged blade. He swung it in all directions, and balls of lightning rocketed to the ground and exploded into sparks. The result was many sudden explosive crashes all around the Bizzards that made them think they were being attacked from all sides. As Tristan swooped down for another pass, Auden tossed out handfuls of smoke pellets, filling the area with a thick, gray cloud. The brothers heard Bizzard growls and yells and saw some blasting magic wildly into the trees. Some noticed them above, and the air filled with magic missiles and flames. Tristan changed course and sped away through the trees, using them as cover. Tristan, the black dragon, turned wide to take another pass at the Bizzards as little fireballs and magic blasts zipped right next to them and off into the swamps. Auden continued to whip his jagged blade from side to side, launching lightning out into the camp until it began smoking and nearly became too hot to hold. Auden tucked it away in his pack and revealed a pair of small, bright yellow fighting sticks. "Get me in close!" he yelled over the sounds of battle. "That's not a good idea," said Tristan. "It's fine. The trolls should be here soon to split their forces. Let's go," said Auden. Tristan jerked to the side and headed straight for the Bizzard camp. Auden stood on his dragon brother's back and leaped into the air, landing in the middle of 3 monstrous Bizzards. They roared and rushed him. Auden flipped up and over their heads and cracked them each before he landed. The yellow fighting sticks crackled with lightning energy, stunning the huge Bizzards and sending them to the ground in pain. Tristan circled the camp, dodging attacks and whipping his tail into every Bizzard he passed. As the Bizzard forces rushed to Auden's position, the trolls came pounding into the camp, roaring and crushing wildly. By now, pretty much every Bizzard was bigger than every troll, but the trolls were furious and fought with mad intensity. While the trolls were holding their own against the Bizzard, Auden quickly found himself overwhelmed. He underestimated the number of Bizzards he would be facing. He dodged and juked and sidestepped until all he saw around him was Bizzards on every side. His shock sticks were not having the effect he had hoped on these new epic Bizzards, and he prepared to toss some smoke and try and escape in the fog. As the Bizzards all rushed into him, a roar rang out through the swamps, and Speedmane barreled into a group of Bizzards, knocking them to the ground and swiping some away with such force they broke tree trunks. Auden flipped onto Speed's back and threw his smoke pellets in an arc so they hit the Bizzards directly, immediately clouding their vision and giving Auden and Speedmane the seconds they needed to escape the Bizzard circle. The two went to the edge of the battlefield and continued their assault on the camp. Following Speedmane into battle was a curious sight. It was kids. A huge group of kids. It looked like a middle school had just dismissed, but these were wizards and witches and fighters and ninjas. It looked like the entire academy had flooded down here to the swamps. Some kids flipped and spun among the Bizzards using powerful weapons to fight off the Bizzards and break their magical staffs. Others created impressive magical effects, blasting huge areas with lightning and flame, or creating invisible barriers to help protect their friends. Auden's first reaction was to help these kids, but it was soon apparent they were more than capable of handling themselves in battle. Tristan continued fighting alongside the trolls, and at the height of it all he saw the table with the fated magical artifacts. The head Bizzard Grumble was nearby, protecting the items, blasting out into the fight with his staff. Tristan unleashed a stream of flames and Grumble ducked. Tristan flew toward the table, intent on smashing the artifacts, but Grumble grabbed them and in one smooth motion put them in his cloak and dropped to the ground, barely avoiding Tristan's snapping jaws. Grumble, now seeing he and his army grossly outnumbered and the fight dwindling, took off into the swamp to escape. But Tristan had eyes on him and followed with great speed. Grumble looked back and realized the futility of trying to outrun a dragon. With great effort, Grumble traced an oval shape in the air with his staff. His staff shook and appeared very heavy, as if Grumble were trying to cut through stone. When the ends of the oval met, the air inside turned black. Grumble had created a portal. Grumble turned back one last time to see Tristan cutting through the air toward him. He stepped into the portal he just made and it disappeared, right before Tristan reached it. Tristan roared in frustration and returned to the battle. Soon the heroes stood victorious alongside the trolls. This was the first time the heroes had teamed up with the trolls. It was an uneasy alliance, but it was necessary. In the days that followed, Auden and Tristan discovered that many of the ninjas had grown quite old because of the dark magic put upon them by the clock and crystal ball. Luckily, as is the saying, what is done by magic can be undone by magic. And with some effort, the magic wielders of the valley were able to put them back to their right ages. The trolls commissioned the Red Cloaks to do the same for the epic Bizzards, and within a week, they were back to normal. Those kidnapped trolls were with the troll army once again. Everything was set right. Well, almost everything. You know, we're probably going to end up coming across that Grumble guy again sometime, said Auden, just before stuffing 2 big goofballs into his mouth. Tristan finished chewing his own goofballs. Yeah, I think we should go after the guy. Take that clock and crystal ball from him. Yeah, let's do that, agreed Auden. But first, goofballs. The end. Thanks for listening, friends. The website is kidstoriespodcast.com. Send all your drawings and such to kidstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Adios.